Welcome everybody. Before we get started, I wanted to make sure that you can hear my voice. Perfect. Welcome to another edition of Flex Rental Solutions how-to videos. Today we're going to be going over the original configuration for terms and conditions in the system and giving you a little bit of background on simple setup. Terms and conditions are different verbiage that people use when they send off paperwork to their customers. There are 2 or 3 main areas in the systems where we can configure terms and conditions and have different logic based on where we configure them. The first one is based off of corporate identity. The corporate identity is the corporation that runs the company. There are customers of ours who have a single corporate identity. There are customers of ours who have multiple corporate identities. There are also business locations where we store gear. Again, some people have a single location. Other companies have multiple locations. So we can use those 2 different areas to configure where we want them to pull that information from. Typically, what I would recommend is that you keep those terms and conditions in one location if at all possible. If you've just got a single location and a single corporate identity, I would upload those to the corporate identity site. And the area that we find that is under System Settings, Corporate Identities. You would select your corporate identity. And for now, we are going to clear our current document. So we went and pulled off some very generic terms off of the web earlier this morning. And this was a Word document. So this needs to be turned into RTF file for use. And there is limited formatting functionality supported in these terms. So we're typically going to take most of the formatting out, and we'll show you how to do that. I typically am a Mac user, and I use a program called Bean. It's a very generic word processor, and it doesn't do a lot of frilly things, but it's great for just doing generic stuff. So if I go to File, and I had this document right here. Most of this is in Arial format, and right now we don't support that as of yet. We'd have to upload specific fonts onto our servers if you're looking for specific fonts. But we'll save this right now, and we'll hit File, Save As, and the file format is going to be rich text format. Okay. And we're going to show you this as a work in progress, because that's typically what happens with these documents is you upload them, print them out, see how you like it, go back and make changes until you have it dialed in. So we're under our corporate identity Flex Rental Solutions. We'll hit Load RTF Document. And here is our RTF file that we just saved. We'll upload that. Now I've opened this test quote, and I have this default terms and condition report enabled. The way I enable that is if we go to Projects, Project Elements, Quotes. Under the instance level report, I selected default terms and conditions and hit Save Changes. This adds these a la carte reports to our options to print out. And so with that selected, that what gives us this report right here called Default Terms and Conditions. So if I were to print this out and print it out as a PDF, This is our generic formatting as it stands. Pretty simple. If we want to do any modifications with it, we can change things around. Typically, people will, what I recommend is always taking off different, so there's no preconditioned formatting of line items before and after, just to make sure that any of this formatting that exists that Flex won't be able to recognize, that it is not, you're not seeing the difference between here and there and stuff like that. With that configured, it is when we print this terms, it goes up and checks the corporate identity and grabs those conditions off there and fills the information in between this line and the dates and signatures at the bottom. All this below and above are parts of the report that are pre-configured, and it is taking the actual terms and throwing them in the middle. We have a couple other reports for terms and conditions that are pre-configured. I'll show you those. As an example, we've got a terms and condition look A and look B that fit a formatting for some other reports that we've enabled. So if we go back to this test quote, and I'm just going to double click on the project tree under test, you'll see these new reports printed out. So if we upload terms and condition look A, or print that out, it formats it with very minimal top information and signatures. It's just a generic printout version. And terms and condition look B, just a slightly different version. Now, typically what many customers will want to do is they'll want to attach these different terms to the default report. The way we configure that is again under Projects, Project Elements, Quotes, and there is the default print format report. In here, I'll take these off. You can configure the stack of reports that you want. So if we like this quote look B version, we have different ways that we can organize stuff. So we could say, I want to use the quote with pricing look A, and hit add. And we could say, I would like my terms and condition look B after that, and hit add. So those are different ways that we can format the stack as it prints out. We also have a quote summary look B. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to drag that and put that on top. So now it's going to print out a summary page, a quote page, and then our terms and condition, all with a very similar formatting look and feel. And we're going to hit Save Changes. So now, instead of just printing out the default financial document, which is pretty similar to what I called what you see is what you get, it looks similar to this. Now when we hit Generate PDF, it's going to print out a stack of reports. Here's the cover page that comes with it. Here is the quote with the specific look and feel with it. And here are the terms and conditions with its specific look and feel. So that's how we generate that very specific stack of reports whenever we hit Generate PDF or Send to Client. If you had multiple locations and you wanted different terms per different locations, I would typically remove that terms from the corporate entity and hit Clear Current RTF. And then under your business locations, You would then open up each location. So if you had different terms for California and the different terms for Las Vegas, that's why you would load those up to here. You would open up the location, hit edit business location, and now you have the ability to load your terms per location. With that configured, when you print the terms, it will check the business location and take the terms out of your warehouse location. With that, we will shut down this webinar for the week. If you have any specific questions on configuring these terms and conditions based off of corporate identities or business locations, or if you need help formatting those, please contact support@flexrentalsolutions.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.